mother is located at the tomb number 35, where the grandmother of the Tutankhamun, Tai, was buried.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're now delighted to be joined over the telephone by Dr. Yahya Abdel, Egypt's former tourist advisor to the USA, and of course our specialist for this afternoon. Dr. Yahya, a very good afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thank you for joining us, Doctor. Now, let's talk a bit about the interest that the Daily Telegraph newspaper has shown in publishing a series of articles on Egypt's ancient history, as well as, of course, the latest being about the King Boy.
Well, currently the treasures of King Tut are on display at the Saatchi Art Gallery in London.
Yes.
And viewers are lining up to watch and visit the rare collection of the young king. And they're mentioning that, you know, like this golden mask is an icon of heritage in Egyptian civilization for the 21st century.
Yes.
They highlight also the hard work of Howard Carter, who discovered the tomb nearly a century ago in 1922.
Yes.
And it was sponsored by Earl Carnarvon. And they asking the visitors, recommending that they visit the Cairo Museum of Antiquities and watch, you know, like the collection of the boy king before it will be moving to the Grand Egyptian Museum at the Giza Plateau.
Yes. How is this, Doctor, a very important introduction in preparation, as you mentioned, for the Grand Egyptian Museum, which will house really all artifacts related to King Tut?
Well, really, you know, like the collection is estimated at 5,300 artifacts and objects.
Yes.
And all of them are the property and the dominion of Egypt, and they're going to be, inshallah, the whole collection will be displayed in one gallery room at the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Yes.
So this is very positive, you know, like support from the Telegraph, because last month they selected Egypt as a must-to-tour destination in 2021, and they recommended even visitors to Egypt from, you know, like the UK, they have to take cruises up the Nile between Luxor and Aswan, and even behind the dam.
Yes, indeed. And now let's talk a bit about some of the articles that we've seen recently in international media that have supported really tourism, citing Egypt as the place to visit, the place to be, the touristic destination for 2021, a place where you have to visit, keep it in your bucket list, etc. How important is that to drive tourism, especially during the pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic, which has really affected tourism, not just in Egypt, but all around the world?
Well, totally true, because just last week, a very prestigious Swiss travel publication, Travel Insight, conducted an extensive online survey for thousands of travelers to rank, you know, like 20 destinations that you like to visit after the long-awaited lockdown, and Egypt came like on top of the 20 destinations.
Yes.
So this is really, you know, like this is Europe, you know, and European Union. And then CNN Travel, you know, like last week, recommended Egypt as a safe destination among 21 destinations worldwide.
Yes.
At the same time, the Archaeology magazine, they had, you know, like the Egyptian mummies that were discovered at the Saqqara necropolis.
Yes.
On cover of its prestigious publications. So we have publications all the way from UK, from Switzerland, and from New York. And this is, you know, like free advertising and promotion for Egypt because of its legacy as, you know, like the hub of culture and cradle of civilization for Egypt and for the whole world.
Absolutely.
So this is really very prestigious and very appreciated.
Absolutely. Dr. Yahya, now we've seen a lot of measures taken by the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities to safeguard tourism as much as possible and safeguard tourists that are still coming to Egypt, whether it is internal tourists or people from abroad. Let's talk a bit about some of these measures. How have hotels upgraded their safety measures as well as their precautionary measures against the pandemic?
Well, really, the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities, associated with the Ministry of Health in Egypt, they work diligently to, you know, like counter, you know, like this vicious, you know, pandemic since early March, and that's why last May we were capable of, you know, like receiving hosting tours from Ukraine, from Lithuania, from Poland, from the Czech, from Hungary, all over the world, from Germany. We had visitors that came to Egypt because they know it was secured and safe destination, because the ministry was following the criteria and the medical and health regulations of the WHO and the WTO in Madrid. That's why. And remember, 2 weeks ago we closed, like we were hosting the World Handball Championship.
Yes.
This is very prestigious, and many countries worldwide are following us. And this month we'll be hosting the international shooting competition at the city of October 6th. In April we'll be hosting fencing and cycling, and in June we'll be hosting international gymnastics as well.
Right. So, Dr. Yahya, lots of events as well on the sports arena encouraging further tourism inside Egypt.
Definitely, yes. And remember, next Monday, inshallah, at the Abu Simbel temple, the sun rays will shine and align on the statue of King Ramses II. This is a great event.
This only happens twice a year, yes.
Yes, and lots of tour groups, like are arriving from international locations to go to Abu Simbel and watch this rare and unique, exotic event that happens once a year.
Indeed. Doctor, let me ask you, what is needed in your opinion in the upcoming period as vaccinations are beginning to get rolled out and people are beginning to get vaccinated, etc.? How long do you see this as translating to the tourism sector with the return of the numbers that used to come visit Egypt pre-COVID-19?
Well, actually, like the abundance, like of world destinations that are coming up with vaccination, diversity of them, this is creating a positive attitude and creating certainty. We have to see this now. The volume of travelers, like on online, is increasing. More destinations are opening up. For example, Thomas Cook, which was halted for a long time, they will be resuming their tours to Egypt. And next October to Marsa Alam, Sharm el-Sheikh and Kader.
Yes, and we also have some news on that front where flights are returning now from Russia as well to these destinations.
Exactly, because last week we started receiving Condor Air flying from Hamburg and Frankfurt to Marsa Alam.
Yes.
And next month we'll be having airlines from Lithuania, flying
all
to
the way
Egypt,
back.
and from Ireland, from the UK. So the whole world from Poland and Ukraine and Czech really are coming back to Egypt, because it is safe and pristine.
Indeed. Dr. Yahya, we spoke about this before, but I wanted to ask you again. You mentioned that there is now an exhibition taking place in the United Kingdom, and this is not the first time that we've seen little pieces and exhibits of Egyptian artifacts traveling around the world in temp exhibitions in museums, in international museums. How important is that as a marketing strategy for the return of tourism and the wonders and treasures that Egypt has to hold?
Well, really, this is a strategic vision of the Ministry of Tourism and its initiatives, because, when you have exhibition with limited, selection of hand-picked artifacts, like, for example, at this exhibition at the Saatchi Art Gallery in London, there's only 150 pieces that have been utilized touring the world for since 2017, 14 years. They've been to North America, Europe, Paris, Geneva. So really this is creating, a large momentum and a push element for visitors, because this is only the tip of the iceberg, 150 artifacts out of 5,300 objects. So they get stimulated to visit Egypt, spend longer time, and shortly, inshallah, before the end of this year, the Grand Egyptian Museum will be opening.
Yes.
And this is, such, sensational event.
A monumental, event, absolutely right. I'd like to thank you very, very much, Dr. Yahya Abdel, the Egyptian former tourist advisor to the U.S. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Ladies and gentlemen, another short break, and we'll be right back to continue today's edition of Cairo Local Time, so do stay tuned.
has thousands of years of recorded history. In every major city,